Hello and welcome back to Sunless Sunday, where we sail the Sunless Sea with me, Bardon, and Lady Sakura. So we had a bit of fun here in the Empire Hands. We're now going to leave it and we're going to head off, excuse me. And we want to head back to the west. So we're going to be making our way home, but we're hoping to find some places along the way. We do have enough fuel and supplies to make it, but it's really our speed and our hull that are going to be the determining factors, I think, at this stage. So we've got to avoid anything nasty along the way. And we're going to get the Z-Bat out to help us find any ports between here and basically what we've discovered before. So the likes of the Khanate and Polyphrene. Okay, so far we're not seeing anything though. But I can't believe that there are no... oh, there we go. I was going to say no ports. So we've got Nuncio. So where's Nuncio? Where's it on the map? Nuncio. Some way to the northwest. So I don't see it, but we're going to head northwest anyway. See if it'll pop it up again. Okay. Hopefully that works this time. No, it's not there. Okay. So we'll just... ah, there it is there. Look, we can actually see it. So, not sure why it wasn't marked, but we got it at least. Wow, we're discovering a lot of places as well. Terra's at 77. So it's starting to get up there again, but it's certainly nowhere near as bad as it's been previously. Okay, and let's get ourselves into the port here. Okay, let's get our port to port. You may not be very familiar with the locals yet, but you can provide a preliminary overview. Surface details. There's a statue in the middle of the island. That's hard to miss. There's the way everyone wears a uniform, and the way they call each other by their ranks in the postal service. There's the way the port authorities refer to regulations. There's the jargon, the curious habit of referring to any used-up thing as cancelled, as though the whole world were made of stamps. You write about vestigial bureaucracy and about trappings of order retained from far from home. Okay. Let's go to the tavern. The ink blotter, it's called. The sign doesn't look like much. Warmer inside than it looks. Faces turn in your direction, but no one seems surprised to have a new arrival on the island. So what's this one? Okay, so let's start with this one anyway. Listen in on postal tall tales. Fishermen brag about fish that got away. Postmen brag about hard deliveries. Amazing what you can get for a penny stamp. Delicate bottles lowered down chimneys on a rope. Do not fold under any circumstances. Letters curled through a narrow slot. Rattling, groaning crates brought back to the same address every day for 22 days running. The windows they pried open, the servants they bribed, the delivery surcharges they paid out of their own salaries just to get rid of one more packet. It is hard to tell which they hate more, the senders of mail or the recipients. It stands to reason, if the message was a welcome one, they'd tell the other fellow in person, reflects the hairless postwoman. Okay. Now let's do this. 2 strings of rats for a pint of ale, 3 strings for wine, 5 for the tolerable brandy under the bar. Scarcity is not an issue. The hairless postwoman at the end of the bar smiles mirthlessly. Or maybe it's just the lack of eyebrows that does it. Long enough carrying the things around, you get into the habit, she says. Then she tells you that if you stay out late enough, you'll see some of the postmen making a procession to the centre of the island, stringing up rats around the statue like Yuletide decorations, in prayer to an ancient deity of this place. From the coughing and choking elsewhere in the pub, you guess that this is a story they often tell to newcomers. Okay, ask why the hairless postwoman is hairless. Legacy of some interestingly explosive package, maybe? Faux pas. No, she says. Curt, not pleased you asked. Still had eyebrows when I came to Nuncio. The postman at the next bench diverts you, speaking in a low voice. Lots of people find habits when they can't deliver the post anymore. This one has a plucking habit. Best learn not to notice. You glance up. The hairless postwoman is still glaring at you. Okay. Let's ask about the big statue. If there were a guidebook for visitors, it would have to be the first entry. The monumental postman. Oh, that. It's all of us, isn't it? So does the spirit of the island. Most of them don't seem troubled for more than an explanation than that. Though the hairless postwoman tells you it didn't always look like a fallen London postman at all. That it used to have a different face and a more old-fashioned outfit. Okay. So it's like the Colossus of Rhodes. And he looks more like a king. I think I said it before. He looks with the crown on. He looks more like a king than a postman. Ask how they all occupy themselves. Okay. Dead letter office. Big building, centre of town. Hard to miss. You can work there too if you want. It's not clear whether this is a generous offer or a threat. Okay, let's go back to the docks. Let's explore along the beach. Shifty going. Actually, let's read the first one. There's a long stretch of shale, dotted with washed up kegs, barrels and smaller flotsam. Shifty going. The rocks slip and slither underfoot. Do you keep your balance? Okay, let's see. Collect material for the dead letter office. Yeah, let's do this first. That's where all the flotsam belongs, so it can be sorted. Will of its own, you make your way along the shore with a big sack. Many of the envelopes are too damp to read. Their address is permanently lost, but a surprising number are still legible. There are also parcels. Here and there is a crate, a message in a wine bottle, a sealed cask that has bobbed up out of a shipwreck. Your sack ought to get heavy with all these contents, but it pulls upwards and away, straining inland towards the dead letter office, like an unimaginable dog. Unmanageable dog, not unimaginable. Okay, we got one dead post. Let's see, what else would we do? Study the odd current here. Let's do this first. Let's go dripping parcel. Shiny, drowning pearls, dozens of them, and an explanation of how they were harvested that turns the hair. The divers lost among the deep coral, the beast that had to be fought off during harvesting, the growing terror aboard ship. All that has been done was done according to your lordship's will, concludes the letter writer. In anger, in pride, in unquestioning submission. Impossible to say. So we got 10 fragments, we got 5 more terror, and we gained 20 drowning pearl. Okay. We could study the odd currents. Yeah, let's do that. The water that brings Flossom ashore does not follow the usual patterns. On all sides, you make a complete circuit of the island. The whole shoreline is alike, all of it covered in debris, all of it washing steadily inland from every direction. Not the work of some directional current, it's more as though the whole undersea was draining into Nuncio. Except, of course, that force did not affect your ship. When you came this way, it does not stop ships leaving. Evidently, it works only on post. Okay. Let's go back to the dock. Let's explore along the beach again. Okay, I was hoping that that guy would be there again, but he's not. So we're going to go to the dead letter office. Blunt Thomas takes you around the office, a small collection room where those retrieving letters may state their business, a much larger set of back offices where newly arrived letters and parcels are collected and sorted. A dank, briny smell that never goes away, presumably because so many of the parcels spent time in the water before they arrived here. In the back room is a machine manned, ratted by a postal rat, a rat's favour, in a pinstripe hat. It shovels sludge-damp letters into the machine's hopper, and they come out dried, cleaned, pressed, and sorted into slots by size and quality of paper. Okay, let's feed in our undeliverable letter first. 52 categories. After prolonged whirring, the machine begins to distribute 7 invitations, edged and gilt, into the correspondence of the aristocracy slot, 2 oversized parcels, probably containing books, into the books tray, 1 stamped bronze tablet that drops with a clang into a bin marked First City. The postal rat watches all this with an air of satisfaction. Okay, let's converse with the postal rat. Perhaps he'll have some insights on the inhabitants of the island. On the islanders, do you like having sticky hands? Asked the postal rat. Most people, they have sticky hands. They can't wait to clean them. Yes, for a postman, an undeliverable parcel is sticky hands. Bothers you till it's fixed. The longer you serve in the post office, the worse it feels. Delivering a letter correctly is good, so not delivering it is bad. The unclean feeling gets too strong, and they come here. Okay. Let's ask for a key to the basement. No trouble at all. He's surprised by the request. Most postmen don't like it down there. No one ever asks for a key, but he'll cut you a new one. Just be careful in there and come out if you start to feel wrong. Okay. Let's open the back rooms. Deep and deeper. You had expected a few shelves of supplies, more files of letters, a few years older. No, it is a pit, so deep that lantern light does not show the bottom. A spiral walkway descends along its walls, and that spiral opens wider as it goes, as if you were looking through the narrow end of a very large shell. Lining this wall are shelves and nooks, unevenly sized, unevenly sized. Some are a few inches square and contain single scrolls of papyrus. Others support crates bigger than coffins. They are made of woody fungus grown to meet requirements. There are no marks of carpentry or any of the postal rat's handiwork. 3 turns down the spiral, you feel you can't breathe. Time to leave. You can come back later, maybe. Okay, we gained 5 terror. Let's talk to the postal rat about our basement findings. Troubling but not surprised. Okay, they say that's been there since before we came, before there were Londoners in the Neath, before there was a dead letter office. There was someone else, and they built the last layer on top of what was there before, and so on. When you press him a little further, he says, I've been down there, didn't like it much, but I wanted to test my machine. And where are we? Thought it could handled some of the very old dead letters. That would be a good sign, you know. Evidence machine was in working order. Good, strong sorting categories, and so forth. He pauses. There's letters down there that set your hair on fire if you so much as look at them. See the ball patch on my left leg? That wasn't a machine accident. Oh no. That singed right off as soon as I put my nose into one of them letters. Okay, so we got one tale of terror, and we got one extraordinary implication as well. So we can't go any further. We need 5 candles. We can buy fuel and supplies though if we need to. But I think we're probably going to be okay with regard to that for getting home. We could do some more shift work though. Let's see that. Oh, do we want to do this? Do we really want to do this? Right, let's give this a try and see what happens. Spiral on glistening spiral. The descent is long and slow. You count the turns at first, but the time comes when you can't see the square of light from the door above and can't mark how far you have come around the spiral. The illumination you have contrived gets dimmer the further you go, until you come at last to a floor whose base you can barely see. The floor is carpeted with, at first you think it is gravel, but no, it is broken shards of clay and stone, all scribbled over in words too old to read. At the centre of this space is a needle of deep black rock, glossy as resin, glittering with ice, inscribed with 3 arcane sigils that hurt to look at. You feel a meaning in their presence, a prohibition or a commandment, that all things must come to their destined place, that what cannot be delivered immediately must be saved against a future date, that a message that goes unheard is a tragedy, that the signal must be carried, no matter how far, no matter through what darkness, no matter whether the sender still lives, nor whether the recipient can even read the language of the writing. The inscription resolves itself and is known to you. No word lost. So we succeeded in our mirrors challenge. We now have 1 searing enigma. Okay, and we've gained 5 terror. So 5 terror is not good for us. Let's sit down for a moment. Vision, dreams, you relax against a shelf. It isn't comfortable at all, as the edge of a metal box is prodding you between the spine and the shoulder blade, and somewhere off to your right is a sound like horse breathing. It doesn't matter. In the dimness you see or remember or dream a silver tree growing in a courtyard. The reverie lasts only a few heartbeats before you're properly awake again. Okay, let's sit down a moment. Okay, I guess we just need to ascend then. At the surface, the dead letter office is still here, its machine still working, its basket still filling with missed invitations and misplaced wheels. Shouldn't it have been blasted away, destroyed by the force of what lies beneath? Okay, let's tell the postal rat about what we saw. Without name, you start to exclaim, but your language doesn't have the right words to express it. The weight of the delivery commandment, the sacred necessity for every word to reach its destination, and the countless individual miscarriages of meaning from one entity to another, which have occurred throughout history and are still occurring, to the detriment of the whole universe. He holds up a paw. Not going to understand it no matter how much you explain, he says, and I'm glad, as if I did understand, I'd be likely to run mad, working where and as I do. After a moment he adds, likely you'll forget, at least forget some of it. After all, you never wore the uniform. Then he points out where your hair has singed at the temples and gives you an ointment he keeps in a drawer. Okay. So what do we need there? So we can't do that anyway. Let's end our shift. Okay. Let's go to the Postman's Tavern. Let's trade war stories and see what that gets us. The parcels you've weighed and entered in logbooks, the things that oozed out of them. The postmen are delighted by your incredulity and shock. The civilian, finally understanding the full horror of the post. They have stories even worse than those. Let me tell you, hang on a moment. Postmaster Scritch, we've all heard your rubbery lumps story already. It's nothing to the Tomb Colony pickles. Pickled what is what I want to know. What about the soot and copper crate and how we had to scrape the bits off the masonry? Do you remember? The night runs late. Okay, let's honour the postman. Nothing about them now seems comical or strange. The regulation maintenance of their uniforms is a mark of holy dedication. Their scars are earned by faith and hard work. They were given an impossible task, but none excused themselves just because of that. The hairless postwoman sees your glance and returns a rueful smile. So we lost 5 hair, that's brilliant. Let's ask to borrow a uniform, see what that gets us. If it'll fit in here, you'll need one. Look but not touch. They're polite, even apologetic about your request. You're welcome here and welcome to take shift at the dead letter office, but you cannot wear the uniform unless you were a postal employee back in fallen London. Regulations. Blunt Thomas lets you have a look at his uniform jacket at least. Neat stitching, gilded buttons, a thin but dignified circle of braid at the collar. Inside, a patch that goes over the heart, stitched with 6 red letters. You can't read it, but it makes your eyes itch and your scalp feel like burning. Okay, let's go back to the docks then. And I think we're probably done here in Nuncio, and we're definitely done for this particular video. So if you have enjoyed, I really do hope to see all of you next time. Goodbye. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe you'll hit the subscribe button there on the right and check out some other videos here on the left.